Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to Heart of Christ Ministry. I'm your host, Reverend Sean Robert Grant, and I am happy and thrilled to be here with you and share another amazing message. What's interesting is life gets absolutely busy sometimes, and for me, especially, I find myself not being able to get the opportunity to podcast. And so, I'm excited that I get that chance to do so now. So let's make the most of it and get in today's message, which is to love more is to live more. Oh, almost forgot. It's been so long since I did this. Guys, if you have any questions, any commentary, anything you want to talk to me about, please write to me at seang04@gmail.com and I will respond to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you in advance. I forgot that. First and foremost, it's been a long time. But now that I got that out the way, let's get into, once again, today's message. It says, to love more is to live more. And all we're saying in a nutshell is that a lot of times we make everything but love a priority. Okay. We make everything but self-love, divine love, unconditional love for others a priority. And as someone who has lived that sort of life, there's a wall that you can potentially hit, proverbially, that really has you scratching your head as to basically saying, is this all there is? Okay. I can recall, growing up and really struggling from a financial standpoint. And if you know my story, where I am with that. But I struggled heavily. And I can remember when I began to really start making some real money, I thought to myself, is this all there is? Is this it? Because I was just waiting for like some big, fireworks display to unfold. And I just kind of came to the conclusion like, oh gosh, that's just not going to happen. That's just not going to work itself out like that, And then it allowed me to go within, because I remember telling myself, God, this can't be all there is. There has to be something more or greater in order for me to live my best life, right? There just has to be. And so I remember the moment I said that, because it was with such conviction and such emotion. Immediately I got the intuitive nudge: choose love, choose love, choose love. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me give this a shot. And so you know what I wound up doing? I meditated. And when I would meditate, I would focus my energy, my intention, not forcefully, but in an easeful way. I would focus it on love, on self-love first and foremost, because if you don't love yourself and you don't love yourself unconditionally, I feel like there's no way you can be of service and help anybody else out. So that's the most imminent thing to realize here at this point in time, is that you got to start with yourself first. And when you do that, then things begin to open up. Okay. So, I do a lot of different things from a career standpoint, and I can be honest with you, because you guys are my listeners. A lot of those things I did was to mainly get approval, was to mainly get acceptance, to get love from others. But the reality was, no one else could ever give me that type of love. I, being the essence of God, right? And me and God being conjoined as one being, that is the only entity that can give me the love that I was looking for in material stuff and physical stuff outside of me, right? same goes for you. You can't look to a relationship to fulfill you, because if you do, that relationship is going to suffer, and that other person in your relationship is going to suffer. I'm happy to say I've been in a successful marriage. We've been together. It'll be 12 years on September 6th. Okay. And we'll be married 11 years in December. And the one just undisputable entity and denominator within this relationship that makes it work is that I, as well as my wife, have to fill ourselves up first in order for us to show up in the relationship in a way that is conducive to us being happy. If I relied on my wife completely for happiness, for joy to be fulfilled, I guarantee I'll be angry most of the time. And once again, I learned from experience. When you put that much pressure on another person, what happens is they distance themselves from you. They begin to move away from you because it's too tough, right? Nobody can prop you up. Nobody can anchor you, right? Which brings me to, I was releasing a love product not long ago, actually a few years ago. And one of the most primary parts of that love segment, that love product, was if you are to love and to love truly and fulfillingly, you must love yourself first. Okay, I'll say that again for you. If you are to love and love truly and fulfillingly, you must love yourself first. Now, the reason I said that is because if you step into a relationship not loving yourself, the other person is going to reflect every single unloving thing about you, right? This is why people get into abusive relationships, because emotionally, vibrationally, they're abusing themselves. And then they wonder, okay, why am I always around or getting involved with these abusive men or even abusive women? You know, you can't really get that. That's a real thing nowadays. And it's because we've learned to abuse ourselves emotionally, and it's sunken into our subconscious minds. Okay. And when it's in your subconscious mind, it's in your consciousness. If it's in your consciousness, it's going to reflect out into the world that you live in. So what we have to do is we have to transmute all of that crap. We've got to transmute it, and we've got to open ourselves up. Okay? We got to open ourselves up to love and love everything from an unconditional capacity or unconditional perspective. You got to start with love. And so some people might be saying, okay, well, that's easy to do. That's easy to say, like, you know, but it's easy for you to say and it's easy for you to do, but it might not be easy for me. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you look at it from the standpoint of, I just got to go and do it, you're going to fail. But if you look at it from the standpoint, okay, number one, let me stop judging myself and start loving the things that I have previously judged. I'll say that again. Let me start loving myself and stop judging the things about myself that I previously judged. So I once heard and watched, I was watching a YouTube video, and I forget the name of the channel. Oh, the channel's called Inner Self. And this is an amazing video. And if you look up the YouTube channel, Inner Self, it's one of the most recent videos. And what was absolutely phenomenal about this video, the guy, his name is Robert Edward Grant. Surprisingly, same last name as mine. He was saying, whatever you judge is what you got. Whatever you judge in other people is an act of you being triggered by that same thing within yourself. And it blew my mind completely. And the reason it blew my mind is because I'm like, okay, I'll be honest, I do a really, really great job of not judging people because I've been judged harshly in the most detrimental way possible. And so I've learned from that, and that's kind of instilled in me humility and compassion and love for myself as well as others. But if you notice that you're judging people and you're judging things, you're counting yourself, you're slicing yourself away from the unity and alignment with divine love that is always present, right? But if you take a moment and you say, you know what, guess what? Your body might not look like it did 10 years ago. So you know what, guess what? You got to say, I accept my body how it is. I'm happy with exactly how it is. And I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm going to accept that. Maybe I can eat a little bit better, but who knows? I'm going to be the very best that I can be with my body right here, right now. And so it is, right? Let's say, I talked about finances here earlier in the episode, and you're not where you want to be with money. Guess what? Don't judge it. Say, you know what? I have exactly what I have right now, and there's a reason for that. Is there anything that I can learn? If so, let me learn it. That may change my fortune, literally and figuratively, right? And so it is. Another thing is, once again, relationships. If my relationship or lack thereof is not giving me exactly what I need, let me look into it and learn from what is unfolding and what is happening as opposed to judging it, right? And then once I do that, guess what's going to happen? When you take down the wall of judgment, first and foremost, immediately, you can see things for what they are, which is usually something that is completely and utterly neutral, right? And neutral is what the Buddhists call middle ground, right? Because if I can see something from middle ground, that way I'm not taken away off to sea, right? Off to the emotional turmoil sea by some erratic, unprocessed emotions. But if I can see it for what it is, I can make a loving choice about it, right? And this doesn't happen overnight, but it happens with practice gradually, and it becomes one of the most amazing, wonderful things you could ever want to experience. It allows you to be the very best that you can be in every sense of the word because you're choosing love. And like I said, to love more is to live more, right? And this doesn't just stop at the basic things. This is with everything, right? Let's say you're driving and all of a sudden you get into an accident or you get a flat tire. Don't judge that situation. Refuse to judge that situation, which leads me to number two. Number two, accept it. Honestly, it's kind of a reiteration. It just says, you know what? I accept this for what it is. I accept it that my consciousness produced this somehow or another. Let me take care of it. And this happened to me recently, right? One of the most interesting things for me that I figured in my life, whenever I have any problems with my car, especially when it comes to flat tire, a metaphysical cause for flat tires is usually your energy has been deflated, right? And I had an experience where I visited a place and it just completely deflated my energy. My vibration just sank. And when I got home, I had a flat tire and I knew right off the bat what it was about. So instead of saying, oh my God, I got a flat tire, I said, okay, I accept this. I understand it. The reasoning behind it is because my energy, my vibration was deflated. So it's manifesting itself physically into my life. What is there for me to learn from it? And how can I find a solution? And right then and there, I got the tire fixed that afternoon, right? At a place that gave me an amazing discounted price that I wasn't really aware of. I was prepared to pay, a couple $100s for the tire. But this place wound up giving me a huge discount. And it worked itself out. All because instead of crying, pushing, and screaming, I chose love. And by choosing love, I chose not to judge, first and foremost. 2, I chose to accept it, right? And 3, and this is the third part of to love more is to live more. I chose to empower myself to see a divine solution that was available, right? And now this always isn't the case because not everything needs a solution, but in most cases things do. So what I mean by empower yourself, healthy self-talk, positive, uplifting self-talk. You uplift and you talk to yourself positively, bada bing, bada boom, an idea presents itself because you're in that love vibration. And love is always going to give you not just exactly what you need, but exactly what you desire, even if you don't know it yet. Say it again. Love will always give you not only exactly what you need, but exactly what you desire, even when you don't know it yet. That's where the acceptance part comes in. And once you accept it, right? Once you choose not to judge, you accept, and you empower yourself to a solution, I'm telling you, your life is going to take on a new screen of activity. You'll find that very love reflecting to yourself. When it comes to a place that people can judge you easily, they're not going to judge you. They're going to accept you. They're going to help you to find solutions. I'm living proof of this right now, and I know a bunch of people who are living proof of it. And it all happens because we have chosen to love more, which has allowed us to live more joyfully, fulfillingly, and lovingly, ultimately. Right? That's a lot of leads. But I promise you, if you take my advice and you hear me out on this and you practice it, 1 is no judgment. 2 is full-blown acceptance. 3 is empowering yourself either to find a solution or empowering yourself to see the thing from a neutral or positive, uplifting perspective. You will see love reflected in every area of your life. Guys, with that being said, thank you for joining me for this wonderful 18 minutes of podcasting on Heart of Christ Ministry. Thank you so much. Guys, if you have any questions, please write to me, SeanG04@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. With that being said, have a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening, wonderful night, wherever you are listening to this. Thank you so very much. We will talk soon. Take care.